su pregunta o de la respuesta. Listo, pues creo que ya estamos aquí la mayoría. Solo quiero darles las gracias a todas y todos por estar aquí el día de hoy. Déjenme presentarles a John Gurley, que es voz y guitarra de Portugal The Man. Para que sea como todo más fluido y más ordenado, solo si alguien necesita ayuda con la traducción, ya sea de su pregunta o de la respuesta y tal, avísenme y les ayudo. Si no, pues ya lo dejamos así para que salga más fluido. Y pues nada más, lo voy a decir rápidamente en inglés para John. Y les pido por favor que en el chat me pongan, levanten la manita, bueno, levanten la mano y de preferencia lo pongan en el chat para yo ir apuntando quienes quieren hacer una pregunta, ¿vale? Okay, so now, John, here we have our colleagues from news outlets and media outlets here in Mexico. So I already introduced you, and if you want to say, you know, a few words before the Q&A, and I'm here to help and translate anything that you guys want, okay?
Sure. I'm so excited for this. We're coming back finally.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now let me check on our chat to see who's already raised their hand for a question. Okay, just give me a second, please. Okay, Eduardo Lopez from Mr. Indie. Eduardo, please go ahead with your question.
Gracias. Hi, John. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Well, in 2020, we're expecting the participation of Portugal The Man on the Vive Latino Festival, but you couldn't attend due to COVID, and now on this year we have the participation of Portugal The Man at the Vive Latino. So how do you feel to be part of this edition of the festival, and what can we expect for Portugal The Man show on a festival?
Wow. I'm just excited. Mexico it's literally our favorite place to go. Like, we just love playing in Mexico. We've always had such great times. Hotel parties, going out, hanging with people. We always laugh a lot in Mexico. So I guess we're just gonna try to bring some old songs, some new songs, just energy. You know, try to bring our energy and leave it there.
Well, thanks so much, and hope to see you at the Vive Latino next month.
Yeah, say hi if you see me.
Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eduardo. Gracias. So now, Arnulfo Vázquez, I'm going to help him translate the question. Arnulfo, dímela y ya yo la traduzco.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Muy buenos días. Hola, Adriana. Buen día también. Hola a todos. Hi, John. Hi, how are you?
Hey.
Nice to meet you. Y bueno, quiero preguntarle en este caso a John que, bueno, ¿cuál es la experiencia? ¿Qué tanto tiene qué tanto tiene conocimiento acerca del festival donde va a estar involucrado el primer día del día 16 de marzo, es decir, la banda? Y obviamente una banda de Alaska es la segunda, una banda de Alaska. Obviamente, pues, ¿qué es lo que piensa de todo esto, que el rock está muerto, está desplazado totalmente por toda la moda, las tendencias? ¿Cuál es la posición acerca de eso? Sé que hay apertura, pero finalmente los cambios son los cambios y sé que el rock no está muerto. Gracias una vez más y te agradezco mucho, Adriana. Gracias.
De nada. Okay, so Arnulfo's questions are, first, you know, how much do you guys know, you know, as a band and you yourself, the festival Vive Latino?
I guess I would say not a lot, just mainly because the way this band has always worked. I like to walk in and just see what it is and learn it. And I don't really look up a lot around these things. I just like to go and see what it is and let the day present itself.
Ok. Arnulfo, él dice que no saben mucho, pero que a él realmente le gusta como ir y conocer y ver y que salgan las cosas. For the second question, he is asking you, what do you think about, that some people say that rock is dead due to like new musical tendencies, that if it is something that you share or do you agree, and basically what is your stand on this?
Wow, I love this question. No, I wouldn't say so. I would say that rock is more than guitar. Rock is and punk. Rap music has taken over a lot of that, like a lot of like youth culture. It's always youth culture. It's always about the next wave of that energy that is it's coming at the system. You want to take it down. I know that feeling of being a young kid who wants to take it down. I think it just takes on a different form. Every generation, rock music takes on a new form, and it will always exist as it has in the past.
Pues él básicamente dice que no cree en eso y que siempre es como un movimiento de la juventud y que toma distintas formas y que siempre ha existido y siempre ha habido como jóvenes como él en su momento también que quieren derribar el sistema y ya, pero que no cree que estará muerto.
Pues muchas gracias, Adriana. Thanks a lot, John, and rock on, because the rock is alive, forever alive. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah, I'm with
Gracias.
it.
Bueno, now we go on with Luis from Miskit Radio. Luis, por favor. Ya te vi, por favor.
Hola Adriana, ¿qué tal? Pues igual solicito tu apoyo para la traducción. Nice to meet you, John. Hi. Hola a todos.
Nice to
Y
meet you.
bueno, esta parte de llegar a un festival tan grande de cultura musical como lo es Vive Latino, Portugal The Man, podrá ser un homenaje completo a Chris Black. Y bueno, ¿qué piensan aparte de su canción de Summer of Love, que en México alcanzó en las distintas estaciones de radio uno de los conteos, estar en los primeros lugares, ya que es una canción que involucra muchos sonidos?
Asking about how do you feel about coming to such a huge festival, and if you think about or if you will consider doing an homage to Chris Black, and about the song. ¿Me repites el nombre de la canción?
Summer of Love.
Summer of Love.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely be playing Summer of Love. I think you have to play some of those songs that they're such a huge part of this new album. And Chris Black, to all of us, Chris changed our lives as a band. He really did. Through friendship and community. That's what this band has always represented to me. It's always represented community. And I see so much of that in Mexico. It's why I really, really feel so attached to Mexico. When we come out there, I see the community. I see people coming together. I see really great food. Food is very indicative of culture and the people around you. Like you can feel the love in the food. And I just love being out there. I'm really excited to take Chris Black with us, and we'll be down there always paying homage to Chris.
Gracias.
Thanks.
Perfecto. Ese sí, ya no te lo traduzco.
Ajá. No, está bien.
Sientas. Thank you, Luis.
Vale.
Yeah, thank you. I love
Thank you.
this, by the way. This is so cool.
It is. Thank you. Now we have Yarki from Conciertos Fin de Semana. Yarki, ¿dónde estás? Que no te veo. Yarki, where are you? I think he's not here. Okay, so now with Israel Martinez from Heaven and Hell magazine. Israel. Israel.
Hola, hola, ¿qué tal?
Ah, ya.
¿Sí me escuchan?
¿Tú dices tu pregunta o yo la
Hola, ¿me
digo?
escuchan?
Sí, sí te escuchamos. We can hear you.
Este, no, yo decía que si me la puedes preguntar tú.
Okay, sí. So
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Israel
¿Cómo están?
wants to ask, what do you think about this edition of the festival, and if there are any bands that you're looking forward to see from the lineup?
Well, I haven't even looked. You know, I always see the problem that I have is I look at the festival and I go, oh my God, I want to see them and I want to see them. And then they play on a different day from us.
Yes.
And so I like to show up and I see who's playing today. And we love watching music. It's my favorite part about playing festivals and playing such beautiful places is you get to see amazing acts in a whole new setting than where we grew up. We grew up in Alaska, so I get to be in Mexico watching amazing music. It's really special to me.
Thank you. Listo, Israel. Now I'll move on with the question from Rodrigo Garcia from Mundo Young MX. He says, what will you take as a memory or a learning from the Mexican audience from your last visit to Mexico?
It's appreciation for each other, appreciation for the arts, appreciation for music. That's something that the United States does not have. You see an appreciation for culture and art in Mexico, yeah, more so than most anywhere else in the world. I see that there, and it's a really beautiful thing. It's very inspiring being around people who live for music, because I live for music.
Thank you. Now I have the question from Yarki from a little while ago. He's asking that if you know any Mexican band, or if you have seen any Mexican band, from your last visit, or perhaps from Spotify or something, that you are looking forward to see this time on this visit.
Oh, wow. God, there's so many. I have a very good friend named Josue Rivas, who we work together a lot. He's always sending me such great Mexican playlists. Natalia Lafourcade performs on our new album, Chris Black Changed My Life, and she is so incredible, such an amazing person. I didn't know who she was when we met, and we just had dinner together and we hung out. We hung out for a few days with Natalia. And the third day of hanging out, somebody says, we should listen to her music. Do you know her music? And I go, she's just Natalia. Like, she's just this great person that we've been having food with and hanging with. And we sit down and listen to her music, and I go, oh my God, I've been listening to you for so long. And I mean, how amazing to meet an artist like that, who is so humble, so down to earth, so cool, and then realize that she's been making all this beautiful music that I listen to.
Thank you so much, John. Now I move on with Cesar Muñoz. He is from Proceso Magazine. César, dime tu pregunta y yo la traduzco.
Ok, ¿qué nos puede decir de la evolución de los festivales en el mundo, como el Vive Latino, incluso el Coachella, donde se revisa y se exponen grupos, pues vamos, latinos, tanto anglo, y en una diversidad de estilos musicales?
Cesar is asking, what would you say about evolution of music festivals in general, not only like Vive Latino or Coachella, where you can see such a variety of bands and artists, from different genres? What would you say about that?
I'll give you my honest take. And it's that in the US and in Europe, it feels like things are getting flattened. I guess musically it's becoming flattened. It's less representative of culture. It's less representative of the country that you're playing in, Mexico and South America as well, Asia. Like it's very rare that you end up in places where it is representative of culture, and that's why I'm excited for this festival. Is there is actual cultural representation there versus the flattening of the culture that happens across Europe and America currently. And that's my honest answer. I'm not trying to slight any of those festivals, but I am saying I'm excited for this because it is representative.
Thank you. Te digo rapidísimo, César, o sea, sí, dice que a diferencia de otros festivales en Estados Unidos o en Europa, donde siente que está como más aplanado o más, no sé, que no hay tanta variedad, le gusta mucho eso de este festival donde sí se ve esa variedad cultural y de géneros en los artistas y las bandas que se presentan, ¿vale?
Gracias,
Ahora,
Adri.
now we move on to Leslie Romero from Canal de Oriente TV. Leslie.
Hi. Um, how about the thing of Mexico people, Portugal?
What was
How
that?
about things?
Otra vez que no te entendimos, Leslie, por favor.
How about things about the Mexican people, Portugal?
How do I feel about Mexican people?
Yes.
Oh, I love them. Are you kidding? It's really amazing coming down there and seeing, as I mentioned earlier, the care that's put into the food, the hearing the music, seeing cultural representation where we're at, and the love for that. I mean, you really, I mean, you're in a really beautiful place, and the people represent that as well. I absolutely love it. We've had some of our best times in Mexico. We laugh a lot. We end up in parties, and I can't say we always go out to parties, but when I'm in Mexico, I'm going to a party because it's the most fun.
Okay. Do you like the food Mexican?
Absolutely. Oh, the best food in the world. Yeah. Are you kidding? This is a conversation that happens in our bus a lot. What's your favorite type of food? And I'm pretty sure the answer is always Mexican.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome to Mexico, Portugal.
Thank you.
Gracias, Leslie.
Gracias.
So now I move on with Emmanuel Cerero from the Coaster Central. Emmanuel, go ahead, please.
Hello, Joe. Nice to meet you. Well, I have two questions for you. And what do you expect and what can we expect from your presentation at the Vive Latino Festival?
Nice to meet you as well. I've been thinking about it. Do we play a pop set? Do we play the hits, or do we play something really heavy? Actually, do you have a suggestion? Should we play something really high energy and just shred as much as possible, or do you just play hits? I don't know. It's always a question when you play festivals. I think we open heavy, then we close strong.
Okay. And how do you feel and your team feel about being part of most of the biggest festivals in the country, such as Viva Latino?
It's incredible. It's incredible to be invited back. It's incredible to be traveling the world. It's incredible to do all of this. I grew up very rural Alaskan. My family were dog sled mushers, so we were out in the woods a lot. We were in cabins a lot. I never thought I'd be doing this for a living, and I'm extremely appreciative of the opportunity to do it.
Okay. Thank you very much, John. Welcome to Mexico and good luck in Viva Latino Festival. Muchas gracias, Adriana.
De nada. Thank you. So now I move on with Gabriela from Caleidoscopio Cultural. Gabriela, please go ahead.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? Hear me?
Yeah. I hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Hello, nice to meet you. I have a question for you. Between the release of your first album and the last album, Chris Black Changed My Life, many things changed. Before we had MySpace, now we have TikTok. Also, artificial intelligence influenced everything. A pandemic stopped the world, etc. How did cultural and generational change impact your musical process?
Wow. Yeah, I find it fascinating, honestly. I look at the way people consume music, and I think a lot of people think it's scary, like things are moving too fast, and you end up in a place where there's too many bands to listen to, there's too many things happening. And that's kind of like the alarmist look at AI and at what it's done. I think it has done some negative things like flatten culture. I can find the same restaurants in Portland that I can find in Germany.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same everywhere. So we're really in this place where we need to be preserving culture and preserving those things that make your areas great. Like what makes your community, what makes your culture great. When I think about music though, I think it's really great. I watch kids deep dive and they go into YouTube and they watch everything that the artist has ever made. They watch all the interviews. They see where the music started, where it comes from. They see who influenced that artist. And it's really very, very inspiring watching kids consume so much music, and you can hear it in their music. So as much as this like music is this big melting pot currently of R&B, soul, and then culture entering as well, it is also just very beautiful seeing how this music touches kids. I mean, that's my favorite part about music. I love seeing a little baby dance in their car seat, dance in their seat as they're eating dinner. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. I love people having access.
Thank you for your perspective, and I hope you have a great presentation at Vive Latino. Nice to meet you. Thank you, Adriana.
You're welcome. Thank you, Gabriela. So now we move on with Samuel from Los Festivales. Samuel, please go ahead.
Hi, John. Nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I have three fast questions. One is about the Grammys. You won a Grammy for Best Urban Contemporary Album a few years ago. What was your initial reaction to the news, and what does it mean to you to win that award, especially given the controversy surrounding about the Grammys?
Yeah, I didn't set out to win Grammys. I set out to play music. I like making art, and I that's the most important thing at the end of the day. I do remember being there and thinking it's so crazy that this song was so big that they took us out of the alternative categories. And I have to say that was really disappointing, if I'm just being honest, because that's all we've been. We've been a rock band. We've been an alternative band. And they kind of forced us into this pop category because the song was so big. But it really started at alternative radio. It was 26 weeks at alternative radio in the US at #1. And I never thought I'd have a song like that. Like I wrote that song thinking about riding in the truck with my parents, listening to the Marvelettes and the Beatles. And I just wanted to write a Motown groove. I wanted to write one of those Motown songs, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's it. So it was all exciting. It's really exciting to be honored by the Grammys, but it's also not why we do this.
Thank you. And my second question is about the festivals. What do you like the most about the festivals?
I like being able to see music. I like being able to be around different musicians. I love seeing people enjoy themselves. I'm an introvert. I don't really like being in groups of people, but I really enjoy watching people enjoy themselves. I love seeing people around loving the same thing that I love. It makes me feel seen. It makes me feel like I'm a part of something greater when I see people enjoying the same thing that I enjoy on stage. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Is there anything you don't like about the festivals?
Yeah. No, there are things that are like different with festivals. They're very rigid, like because they have to be. But it's also something that I love about festivals. I love that it's a variety show, and you better hit your mark because the next person's coming up. I love that.
Okay.
So
thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will see you at Vive Latino.
I can't wait. This is making me so excited. Like I am so filled with joy coming out here. Cool.
It's gonna be great. I assure you that.
Gracias, Adri.
De nada.
That's awesome.
So now I move on with our next question. This is from Jesus de Beba, who he's right there. So Jesus is asking you this. So psychedelia is a journey into the inner self. What have you seen in your journey, and how do you project that in your songs?
I've seen I think honesty is really important in psychedelic music. Being introspective. I grew up in a place where I would look up and you could see everything. I grew up, you would see the stars. There's no light. It's just dark. I grew up in a place where you could really let your imagination go and take that journey into outer space. Through music, I've found honesty in myself when you sit down and write and you don't think about what you're doing. I love word association and just letting things flow and letting it come out as it comes out. It's a really special genre of music where it's total freedom to create, total freedom to have feelings, total freedom to find things in yourself. And in Chris Black Changed My Life, in our new album, I found a lot of things that were happening in my life just through writing and looking back at it retrospectively, like retroactively looking back and saying, that's what I was writing about. I was writing about our family. I was writing about our group. And then I was writing about my individual journey and what we've gone through with Chris Black, with my daughter. Zoe and I have a daughter named Frances who has a rare disease. And I found myself writing about these scary thoughts and trying to keep it exciting and uplifting. And when it needed to be, it could be down and could be thoughtful. Yeah, thank you for the question.
Thank you, John. Chucho, ¿quieres que te la traduzca? Estás en mute. You are on mute.
Por favor, si eres tan amable, Adri.
I'm going to do a quick translation, John. So, él dice que la honestidad es muy importante. También menciona un poco acerca de de crecer en Alaska y también cómo creció viendo las estrellas y que como crecer en ese sitio le permitió dejar que su imaginación volara y también a través de la música ha encontrado la honestidad en sí mismo. También menciona que la psicodelia te da una libertad total para escribir, para crear y también menciona un poco que en este nuevo disco justo se permitió tener esta libertad total y que escribió acerca de muchas cosas que pasaban o que pasan en su vida, acerca de su familia, del grupo, de su jornada individual. También escribió como pensamientos y quería también plasmar algo como emocionante y que pues te levantara como el ánimo. Menciona también que él y Zoe, que es otra integrante del grupo, tienen una hija que tiene una enfermedad genética rara y entonces también dice que se encontró a sí mismo escribiendo y plasmando en sus canciones acerca de esta situación. Y ya, fue muy rápido, pero ahí va.
Muchas gracias,
Listo.
Ari.
De nada.
Thanks, Mr.
Thank you,
Brown.
John.
Yeah, thank you.
So now I move on with a question from Hugo from Conexión Interna. He is asking you, nowadays, there are a lot of collaborations in music. Have you ever thought about, doing a collab with a Latin American band now that you are, back in Mexico? That is question number one. And question number two, it is, have you ever heard, this genre that it's called corridos tumbados, and in Mexico, and what do you think about it if you have heard them?
Okay, so I have a good friend in Portland, Jose Rivas, who shares music with me all the time, and he's always giving me Mexican playlists, and I love all of it. It's something I've talked about since the beginning of this band. I'm not really interested in collaborating with just American artists. That's kind of boring to me. I love the idea of I've always wanted to collaborate with Mexican artists. That's where we worked with Chamanas back in 2013, and a set of romance as well. Natalia Lafourcade on this new album. Chris Black changed my life. She sings on a song called Thunderdome that was written on the border of Mexico and Texas. We were in the studio together, and that just ended up happening. It was very serendipitous. It just happened. I love Mexican artists. I love the passion. I love hearing the culture in the music. And I think that's going to be a very repetitive answer from me, but I love hearing where people are from in the music they make. It's a really beautiful and increasingly rare thing today with the algorithms and AI and all, playlists being curated for you. Mexico is one of those places where you hear it in the pop music, you hear it in the punk music, you can hear culture. It's a very special place. Y'all are from a very special place.
Thank you so much, John. And now I'll move on with a question from Noemi from Faro en las Calles. Noemi, please go ahead.
Hi, John. Nice to meet you.
Hey.
Talking about your experiences in Mexico, could you share any funny story about maybe some of these parties that you go in?
I don't know if I can expose anyone, but
I know, but a little maybe.
Oh man, we went to a party one night in Mexico City. It was in this really beautiful loft style apartment building, and we went in, and it was just it must have been 40 or 50 people in this apartment. It was a lot of people in an apartment, and just hanging off the balcony. We're kind of wild. We are kind of a wild through. And it was just so cool. Like I remember sitting in the kitchen, drinking and laughing, and in the living room listening to music. There's music playing in the living room. There's a record player. And it's just a really, really great group of friends. We've always connected with people, and that's one thing that is consistent with this band, always, is connecting with people. We've always connected with people, and we make a point to hang with our friends and make new friends. So it's always just a lot of laughing.
Thank you so much. Gracias, Adri.
Thank you so much, Noemi and John. So now I move on with Gilberto Flores. Gilberto, please go ahead and do your question.
Hola, Adriana. Muchas gracias. Hello, John.
Hey.
It's a pleasure to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much. You guys will have a very busy 2024. You will play a lot of gigs, a lot of festivals. Is there any plans to make new music this year, or you're just gonna play live?
Yeah, there is. We're going to make new music this year. So 4 years ago, I broke my jaw. And when I broke my jaw, this is 3 years after Feel It Still and Woodstock came out. Or I guess it was 2.5 years after that. That album came out, I break my jaw. And during COVID, I actually had a broken jaw that whole period. It was a result of an injury when I was younger, where I had broken my jaw that I didn't know about. So it took a really long time to get everything working properly again. And as soon as it started working, I made Chris Black Change My Life and finished that album. And it just made me, it lit a fire in me to get back to, I like that these the Zoom reacts to whatever you do. I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys saw that, the fireworks going off behind me. Yeah, I want to make new music. I want to make a prog album. I want to get spacey, you know, and just start making music again now that I can physically do it.
And what can we expect in your new songs? Because your latest record is very personal, very emotional, very deep in a lot of sense. You guys will try to find some different topics, different stories?
Yeah, always. But I would say also, like, the story is my story. It's a personal story, and you kind of dig deeper. I find that with music, you end up digging deeper internally. So you find emotion that you didn't know was buried down there. And that's something that happens with age too. I mean, you as you grow, you learn, and you learn about yourself. And Chris Black Changed My Life is very representative of where I was currently at. It was these feelings of self-doubt and where am I going and how did I get here? It was what happened to the family that we created, and am I on this journey alone? And you feel very alone when things happen with your family, as they did with mine. My daughter has a very rare disease, and Zoe and I talk about this constantly. I see a few different albums on our horizon, though. I see a more stripped back personal album, and I see something that's very minimalist, and then I see a maximalist prog record. I've loved Fragile by Yes. Like, I would love to make my Fragile. And then finally, there's a Dark Side of the Moon too. Yes. Let's make
finally,
that.
John, now that you mentioned these emotions, we need to understand more the importance of talk about mental health and the power of music in order to improve our mental health.
Definitely. Again, it's something that I really love about Mexico. I love places that appreciate their culture, appreciate music, appreciate the arts, and really value the arts. There's a value to this. Like when you see that baby dancing, that's something that's internal. They're not just dancing because they just heard the song, and that's what you do when you hear songs. That's something that's deep in our souls. That's something that is in our DNA. It's in our genetics. You know, like we need music. Music is life. Those songs are important. You see it in the birds. You see it when birds sing. You see it in nature. You see it in the mating dances and the mating calls. You hear songs all over the planet. We need to appreciate them. It's a major issue in the US, especially. When you travel around and music is not appreciated, when the arts are not appreciated, things start to crumble. I see that as the major divide in the US, is that there's not an appreciation for the arts, or it's actively suppressed. And I would say that it's actively suppressed because art offers opportunity. Art offers personal growth. It offers an outlet for your mental health. We shouldn't be on the social media talking. These reactions in my video are so ridiculous, but we get stuck on social media constantly. And it's all about taking a moment for ourselves and listening to music, appreciating what's there, appreciating the people around us, caring about the folks around us. And again, we have a daughter with a rare disease who is on the spectrum as well. And I see this really extreme need for care for our kids. Teach them farming, teach them how to raise chickens, teach them how to interact in community, teach them weaving, teach them life skills alongside math and vocabulary, things like that. We should be teaching these skills. They're very important to our survival as a people.
Thank you so much, John. Looking forward to see you in Vive Latino. Adriana, muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gilberto. So now I'll move on with our last question. I'm so sorry, guys. It's from Asem, from Pólvora. Asem, are you here?
Sí, hola.
Go ahead, Asem.
Thanks. Now I would like to ask you something about the ideals of rock, because your band was involved in some events with Bernie Sanders in 2020. So how is rock involved with politics and politicians right now, in your opinion? And do you think it's a good relationship?
Yeah. Okay. So it's Cornell West. We were with Dr. Cornell West recently. I guess our band is always in favor of whatever is trying to buck the system. Music is a voice. It's a voice of the people, and it's the Beatles stopped the Vietnam War. Music is power, and I believe that is the reason music gets taken away in schools. Back home where I come from, I believe that's the reason art gets taken away in schools. Why art programs are underfunded where I come from. Again, like I keep circling around, like it's one of the most beautiful things about your country and the other countries that we go to, is when I see art that is cared for and nurtured. Rock music is a response to those things being taken away. Rock music is fighting back. It's integral to change and these movements. It's these gatherings of people. We come together around this music, and I see really great opportunity for change. And that's coming from a kid who grew up very rural. I grew up in we were a bunch of redneck kids, like we were hillbillies. And I don't know if you know what that means, but we got dirty and we didn't know better. And as I've grown and as I've learned things, I see the power that we have, and I see the power that we all have. and I see the power that the youth has. It's everything in the world. Music is necessary, and rock music and punk music and rap music, these are our middle fingers to the system.
Thank you so much, John. Finally, could you just say, few last words, and also invite all the people to come and see you on the festival Vive Latino the next March 16, please?
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited to get back to Mexico. We all are. You have such a beautiful country. It's such a beautiful place. And I just love seeing music fans at these festivals. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. Don't miss us.
Thank you so much. Gracias a todas y todos. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, John. I hope you have a good rest of the day, and we will see you very soon in Mexico City.
Oh, well, thank you all so much. This is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
So
good
cool.
one. Bye.